I am the CECM in charge of finance and economic planning.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Oscar Omoke, the Chief Officer in charge of Water and Sanitation, Nairobi County Government.
Through the Chair, my name is Job Maura, Head of Press, Governor's Office.
Good morning, Chair and member. Ms. Paul Omondi, Director in charge of Finance, Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Johnston Mikwa, Financial Accountant at Nairobi City Water and Sewerage.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Kenneth Moya, Management and Accountant, Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company.
Thank you, Chairman. I think that's it from our side.
Thank you very much. So, honorable members, we will proceed to item number 3 on your agenda, which is administration of oath of witness and tabling of document. But honorable members, in our pre-meeting, there was a matter that arose, which I wanted to also start with the clerk of the committee to give us feedback.
Chair, as the committee has discussed in the pre-meeting, the office of the clerk received some documents from the management of Nairobi Water Company. Documents were not signed and not owned by anyone. Chair, the same documents have been submitted also today in the morning, which are before you in the files. And our concern is there's no ownership. Second issue we have is the letter from the committee was to the governor, and our expectation was document to be owned by the county through the office of the governor, which we don't have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. The auditor, you also received these responses. What is your comment? Did you receive signed documents?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, Chair, we received the supporting. We received the documents with a forwarding letter that was received on 19th of June 2025. The document was signed by the by Managing Director, Engineer Nation Muguna, Nairobi City, with the letterhead of Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company Limited. Thank you, Chair.
So maybe I can hear from members on the way forward, because the documents that the clerk says he has and which are in your files do not have the owner. They are not signed. So I don't know how the auditor was given a forwarding letter and the clerk was not given a forwarding letter. I don't know what happened.
Chair, with your permission, can I advise that because you will be seeking clarification from the county government, you put the governor under oath first before that discussion begins, so that whatever responses are coming from him are responses that this committee can take seriously. So, because you will have to put to him the question as to how we have ended up with documents from the county that are not signed by the county executive.
Usually item 3 on the agenda is in 2 parts: the administration of oath of witness and tabling of documents. But since the documents have an issue, I will only allow the governor to take the oath without tabling the documents, because in the process of us finding out the documents are not rightly before us, then he cannot table them. So yes, we can allow the governor to take the oath for the purpose of responses on that matter. So I think the clerk, you can guide.
I, Sakaja Arthur Johnson, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Very well. So, any other comments? Eddie?
Chair, I was. Oh, you want to go first?
Yes, please.
I'm a vice chair. I can let her go first.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and Governor, with your team. When we went through these documents on your financial statements, we could not get where the deposits of customer deposits are. And
just Senator Mudama, hold on to that.
Yeah.
We are still talking about documents because you cannot talk about customer deposits, which is contained in the documents that we are discussing. So let's first of all deal with that. Senator Eddie.
Chair, perhaps I wanted to establish on the letter that was communicated to the governor by the clerk. That's why you still be trying to consult with the clerk. Whether the governor read that letter, because I believe in that letter there was proper communication with regards to the document that was supposed to be brought here, but most importantly, even with the timeline that they were supposed to be here. Ordinarily, because I've been in this committee since I got into this Senate, indicate that the documents must be provided to this committee and our team, our secretariat, can be able to actually go and marry the responses with the audited queries. Because, Chair, if you saw the audit queries here, the supporting documents seems to have been missing the auditors, the one that auditors read there. That's why you've got 20 audit queries and only 2 partially addressed. So if the attitude from the county is that they did not submit the documents at the audit time within the time required, and then in our responding to our committee, the documents are also brought to us this morning, that is very tasteless from the county. So I just want to know, was there an indication of when the documents are supposed to arrive to us, and is there an explanation why they did not arrive on time, and they were not signed by the executive, which is the governor in this case?
Chair, can I go next? Can I go next?
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you. I know the governor was a member of this house, so he knows the procedures and the process of how documentation should be done. And he is the one who is taking the responsibility for the entire county. All these senators seated here live in this city county. And so we look upon you as the governor of this city to make our lives comfortable as you serve the rest of us. I'm wondering how he could come to a committee meeting with the documentation that he has not owned. How? He knows the procedures. Governor, you know the procedure. You know you are supposed to own the documents. Because whether the companies, whether it is you who bears the responsibility, how could you just come before this committee with the documents that you have not owned?
I think because we seem to be repeating ourselves, let me just give the governor to respond to this issue.
Chair, thank you. Chair, I received a letter from the Senate on the 10th of June, and I responded on the 16th of June with the supporting documents, and I can give you the letter.
Yeah, you can table the letter.
Written to the clerk. The reference is made to your letter, Senate DGSC CPIC SF, dated 9th June, on the above subject matter. Attached herewith, please find our responses and supporting documentation, the specific issues raised in the reports of the Auditor General for financial year 2023-2024. Yours truly, Sakaja Arthur Johnson, Governor.
Okay. You can, clerk, you can give me a copy.
And I've asked for the received copy to be shared.
Chair, as you read that one, we are also wondering as a committee, how come the documents are not signed by anyone?
So there are two letters here, honorable members. There was a letter where the governor was seeking postponement of the meeting, which was written on 11th June 2025. The governor was traveling out of the country to France and London, so he requested that this meeting be rescheduled to another date. So the letter is signed by the governor himself. Then on 16th, there was a letter to the clerk of the Senate making reference to our earlier letter on the 9th of June 2025 and attaching the responses and supporting documents to the issues that were raised in the financial year 2023-2024. So the letters are here. So maybe the clerk.
Point of order.
I have not finished. I have not finished. Let me ask the clerk to tell us, then you can raise issues. So the clerk, maybe you need to tell us more because you are representing the main clerk in this committee about these letters. Then you can take up from there.
This letter received by the office of the clerk is trickles down to us. It is marked to us. Unless there's a miscommunication somewhere, we always receive letters. But it's something we can quickly confirm.
You just confirm whether the letter was received.
Just
Chair,
confirm.
just for purposes of illustration.
Yes.
Because I have my own problems with the governor and responding to correspondence. If you look at this letter, it is coming from my office, it is dated, and you will see a stamp here, received by the governor's office. That is the only evidence you can table to indicate that you brought a letter somewhere. So you just need to look on the face of that letter. Is there a receipt by the Senate? That's all. Because you can write a letter and keep it in your office. It happens. On the face of the letter, Chair, does it say received by the Senate?
Okay, let me allow the clerk to confirm with the clerk's office. Then he comes back to us.
Yeah,
on the same.
But that's what I'm saying, Chair. The evidence you table. Stamp, Governor, you get a letter that has a receipt. That puts the matter to rest.
Chair, and just to further
Yes.
that, very quickly. You remember I asked you whether the letter that we sent to the governor had details that I was talking about. That letter is here. Sent to the governor's office. This is the governor's stamp. Received by the county government of Nairobi. The same thing that Sifuna is talking about. So if we were to say that did we communicate to the governor, we have got evidence that the letter was received. So is that how did the governor communicate the letter to the clerk without having a receipt on it?
I'll get a receipted copy. Chair, I've issued you a letter from my file. The issue of receipt was not contentious, so I'm not presenting it as evidence that I wrote. I didn't think there was a contention. But I responded on the 16th of June, Chair. So, I mean, you can look for the copy that has a stamp. There's no problem.
Yeah,
I don't see the issue there. And Chair, there was no reason as to why. Remember, this meeting was postponed a couple of times. The response is already a long time ago. In fact, the last postponement was by yourselves, you know. So we have been ready. I don't see why there's contention about.
Governor, there is contention because documents have to be owned.
Yeah, I've signed it.
Just a minute. You know, you prepared to come for this meeting. You should have brought the letter knowing that these issues arise. We have had this discussion with you before in the Transport Committee. There was even a big fight about emails. Whether you say you have sent emails from there, but we have not received. You remember that conversation?
So we'll get the copy.
So these issues arise. But the point we are making is this: in the absence of that ownership, you see there is a document here. It is not on any institution's letterhead. It just starts by saying Nairobi City Water and Sewerage responses to the Senate Investment Committee, Public Investments Committee. This letter has no. These are now the responses. It is not signed anywhere. It is not on letterhead. So in the absence of that covering letter, then really these responses do not belong to anyone. That is a major issue.
The letter written to the Senate, you know, you don't sign every page. The letter written to the Senate has this as the attachment.
That's what I'm saying.
We have no reason not to respond on those issues.
So you just need to show us the receipted copy and then we close the matter.
Honorable members, I'm just waiting for communication from the clerk on the stamped letter. If the stamped letter comes, then members will decide on the way forward. But as it is now, the documents in the files prepared by Nairobi City Water, they are not signed anywhere. They're just plain document. If you are given this file, you may not know what it is, who the owner of these documents are.
Chair.
So that would be a serious problem.
Chair, maybe just one moment. The clerk, unless I had my own things, the clerk has indicated that the document before us arrived this morning. Did I hear that? Am I going to hear that? If the documents arrived this morning and the letter arrived on the day that is being talked about, what are we talking about? Are you saying that, Governor, when you sent the letter, you said that we forwarded these documents on the day that they came? So then these documents, how did they arrive for us this morning?
I said,
why are we playing a cat and mouse game with the Senate here?
Chair.
You can't say that the forwarding letter of document that you sent, the forwarding letter came earlier, and then the documents came this morning. And that's why it is a issue of timeline.
Honorable members, I want us to be very clear. The clerk indicated that the document they received today, but the same document were received earlier. Can you clarify that position? Because there are two receipts that have come, one today and another earlier. The one that came today came via email, according to the clerk.
Chair said we have received the documents within timeline, although those documents were not signed and owned. And I further said the documents that were received today are also not owned. That's what I meant.
Chair.
So, Chair, the first documents were not owned. Today's documents are also not owned. So what are we doing?
Chair,
let me, Chair, Chair, we are arguing about the same thing. I think what we need to do between the Senate, the clerk of the Senate and the county government, let's wait for whichever letter comes first that will show there was a receipt, then from there we make a decision. Otherwise, Chair, we are just talking around.
Yeah, that's why I say, if we get a letter, from the members, if we get a letter that is stamped received from the clerk's office, then we will know that the documents were actually sent in time on that date when the documents was received. But without that letter, it becomes a bit difficult. I understand the situation, honorable members. So the clerk, if that letter is not there, let us know. If the letter is there, please bring it, stamped letter, so that if the letter is stamped, we will proceed, honorable members.
But Chair, this is my own personal advice to this committee, that whenever there is conflict between an entity and your own staff as to what the true status is, always believe your staff. We have gone through this in other committees as well. In the Committee of Transport, we have had this problem with this same entity. that they claim they have sent documents on time and they have no physical. Because if you came, if you wanted to show this, to demonstrate this, it's very easy, and the county attorney is there. The county attorney knows that if you have a receipt, it is for you to produce a receipt. It can't be for the clerk to look for the receipt. Because the question has been posed to you. But anyway, Chair, I don't know what you want to guide as you wait.
Chair, there is no guiding in this.
Well, as we wait for the confirmation, maybe we could process a few other issues that I had requested the committee to allow me to raise as A or B, because it revolves around the same issues of correspondence.
Chair, may you look at the synchrony between the letter that the clerk received, right? Or rather, the alleged letter that the clerk received vis-a-vis the letter that the auditor received. Can we get harmony between those two?
Senator,
can we just ask the auditor if they are read the same day?
The letter that the auditor received is from Nairobi Water. Is not from the governor. Because us, we wrote a letter to the governor. So the governor was responding to us. But the responses were, I believe they were done by Nairobi Water. So Nairobi Water wrote to the auditor with an attached letter. That is the letter they are.
On different
the same
dates.
letter.
On different dates.
What dates are indicated there, auditor?
Chair, the letter received from Nairobi City County is dated on the 17th of June 2025, signed by the managing director and also copied to the clerk of the county assembly of Nairobi.
17th June. And from the governor it was 20? What time? 26th of June.
16th.
16th. Senator Amida?
No, I just wanted to say that Bwana Governor, being the CEO of the county under Article 179, I think you should have just made sure that all these documentations, and if I had Yusuf right, was that he said such copies also sent on soft copies, and the soft copies also could suffice.
Chair.
Yes, Governor.
The document that I sent with the responses was received by the Senate on the 20th of June, 2025. I have the stamped copy that is being printed. It is stamped received at the Senate.
So you can table it.
Chair, I've asked a substantive question.
This is a scan. When you do that, we scan.
Chair, I've asked a substantive question. If the letter to the auditor went on the 17th, how is it possible that the letter to us came on the 16th?
Because I'm not wrote to the Senate.
Was it an anticipation? Yeah, I have the letter.
Chair, the question was whether the letter was owned, whether it came on time. Your clerk has told you it came on time, and I have the evidence that it was received by yourselves. I think we are splitting hairs for nothing. Let's go to the substance, Chair, respectfully.
Yeah.
And I have it here, received by the Senate.
Yeah, let me have a look at that letter.
Yeah, I'm getting it printed.
So meanwhile, as we are waiting for the letter from the clerk and this other letter tabled by the governor, Senator Sifuna, what is the issue?
Yeah, Chair, there were a few issues that I had hoped that we would have a conversation with the governor, and it is revolving around water issues in Nairobi. Governor, in all honesty, I also have a problem with the office in terms of how they treat correspondence. Your office never responds to correspondence. And this is not just from me. I have letters here from members of the county assembly addressed to your various departments, and the complaint is the same throughout the leadership of Nairobi, that your office does not respond to correspondence. The first one letter, the Chair, I had a meeting with a section of those leaders that I've spoken about, and I had written to you on the 27th of May 2025. This letter was received in the office on the 28th of May 2025. I have a copy here with me, Chair, and it was regarding water connections in Ruai Ward. And there has been no response, Governor. I had occasion to run into Engineer Muguna at the airport a few weeks back, and I asked him the same question, but there has been no response. So it becomes very difficult for us as representatives of the people to give feedback to the people when we can't ourselves be given that information. So perhaps we could start there, Chair. If the Governor is in a position to answer this today, because this is the only place we can now have this conversation, it is possible. You can say maybe you will need time to answer, but maybe that's because the water company is there. The residents of Ruai are concerned about delayed household water connections. And the information we got was that the major pipeline project by Athi Water Works and Nairobi Water was largely complete. There are over 22,000 households that have paid 5,000 shillings each for connections, and yet those connections have not been had. Is it possible for us as the people of Nairobi to get a response today on that particular issue? Secondly, Honorable Chair, there's a meeting that I held with residents associations from Roysambu constituency. Specific issues were raised to do with the construction of sewerage system, specifically in Roysambu ward, and the complaint there, Honorable Governor, was that the residents of Nyati Drive in that particular ward were omitted from the construction of the sewerage that was going on. And perhaps you can also, if it is possible today, Governor, give a response so that the people of Nyati Drive know the current situation. Thirdly, Honorable Chair, there was a request from the Honorable Sospita Mumbi, who's the MCA for Roysambu, for construction of a borehole at GSU Primary School and Secondary School in Roysambu Ward. There's a letter to you, Honorable Governor, to your Chief Officer for Water, and it is received on the 21st of February 2024, which is more than a year ago. There has been no response, Governor, to the Honorable MCA on that particular request, just to say yes or no, so that he doesn't waste time running around offices. And lastly, Honorable Chair, this is a letter from the Marurui Residents Alliance, and they were raising questions of the sewerage coverage within Marurui as well. Honorable Governor, I'm sure you are familiar with this matter, that has left many high-rise buildings unconnected to the main sewerage line. So perhaps, Governor, if you can identify any of those issues that we can get responses today as we wait for the committee to get its act together, then maybe you can indicate. But if you do not have, I would appreciate if there were formal responses coming from your county government whenever leaders raise this question, so that we don't have to waste too much time on it. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Senator Sifuna, you know that matter can be raised under agenda AOB. So on the basis that it's a very important issue and you had asked the committee to bring up that matter, I think we handle it as AOB. So I'll bring the AOB first before we go to agenda number 4. So, Governor, you can respond to your senator on the issues that he has raised.
Chair, the more detailed ones, they can get a response a bit later. But what I know, for instance, in Ruai, parts of Ruai Ward are now connected. We've had a challenge. No, that's the biggest ward in this county. It's possibly an 8th, you know. In Kasarani constituency, right now for the water, we have reached Kangundo Road to Ruai Market. And then there's a pipe from Jiru Railway Station that goes towards to cover the Infinity area. That is already ongoing. And there are many others, you know, because that goes hand in hand with the Utawala. Yeah, the Utawala area. It's a similar part. And there are many other laterals that we're doing around that area. So I will ask the MD to maybe just give, not now, but to prepare. Yeah, because Kasarani has two sides. There's the Kamudu side, Ruai, Mwiki, and this other side of Santon. Currently for Siwa, at Kasarani police station, yeah, we're developing, there's a diversion that is now connecting to the trunk Siwa along Mwiki Kamudu road. That one is something that is also ongoing. I think it's a great opportunity to give a larger update of all the improvements that have been going on in the last year, and I will be able to share that with you, Senator. Including, I think, what would form part of today's discussion on the what we call pre-shrilling, of the piping in the CBD. Because a lot of the reason we have that non-revenue water is because of the old pipes that have leakage and connected to the old fire system in the city. And as soon as that is done, we'll reduce the non-revenue water by 2,000 cubic meters per hour. Yeah, that is what is currently ongoing. So there's Santon, there's Clay City, there's Kariobangi North at National Concrete, that is also ongoing. The side of Kawangware 46, all the way coming into Chalby Drive. You also know that we're doing 54 kilometers of trunk Siwa, 1.8 by 2.4 meters, that goes hand in hand with the river program. South Sea is a place that has had similar challenges. What we have there is something called condominium sewers. Those condominium sewers are sewers that are not on a wayleaf, that are in people's property, just like Isili, because of the planning. But now we've been able to get a major pipeline from the northern bypass coming into Akiba, connecting to Oleshapara, down until Kongweni Primary School. Then at Kongweni Primary School, where we have the Kenya Power substation, it connects to the larger trunk Siwa. And then now we're doing further laterals along the Ngong River line. So, I mean, Chair, I can give a lot of that. As for the MCA ones above, we do a lot of induction, and we tell them how to get a project. Projects are not received by a letter. They are budgeted for, they are appropriated by the MCAs themselves. In fact, they even indicate that this financial year we're going to do boreholes in this place, or we're going to do a road in this place. And so it's part of that process. I think maybe the issue is him being told or responded to. But that is really the process. We don't give projects based on request by letter, but based on a medium-term framework, an appropriation bill, and it's a process you all know because you're legislators and you're also going through the same. Chair, on water, I think it will be of benefit for this committee and for Nairobians to know we made huge improvements, increasing 160 million liters a day, courtesy of NCT1 and Karimenu. And many of you might attest to increased water. So if you need me to go through,
Governor, just to be specific to the areas that we've raised,
yes.
What would you say, like, of the 22,000 households that had already paid for connection in Rwai?
That's what I told you.
Just give us a status and maybe the reasons for the delay. There are also allegations that some people had paid and they're being asked to pay again. This 5,000 shillings, is it receipted?
Of course.
Where is
it is paid. I'll ask them to give you details of that, and then maybe also you can talk about Nyati Drive.
Yes, please. And, those specific areas.
And Resambo. But for a more comprehensive response, because I'm sure he's also heard it now, we can write back. Thank you so much. Maybe respond to the issue of the why.
Utawara area, where just like the governor has said, actually why want you put Miango, Utawara, they take around that 8% of the surface area of the city. And those areas have not been having any of our infrastructure. It's now they are being done by other waterworks development agency. Now, like the work you're asking, Bwana Senator, ADI is responsible for development of the infrastructures there through Credit K1135 funded by AFD. Now that credit, the work entails doing the main lines, lateral lines, plus the connections. Now, That work is not yet complete, Senator. There are customers whose work is complete. We are giving them the meters. But the responsibility of laying the pipes up to the customer premises is being done by other water works development agencies known as Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company, and the credit I've spoken about. A comprehensive report actually can be handed over to you through the governor's office immediately we leave here, because we have also been following up those matters on the ground. The customers are ours, they are not others. Customers. So we have been following up what they are doing, and we have a comprehensive report which we can hand over to you immediately we leave here. On Nyati court of Roysambo area. Roysambo also sometimes back under the NDB funding, the same other waterworks development agencies did a lot of projects in those areas. Also those areas, I'm sure you are aware, there are no CWAs, Dome, Maroroi, Ruai, Simaman, they were being developed last year, and still the contract is on the ground. So they will be incorporated if they're in the original designs. The original